What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Big Six Podcast, CBS Sports Daily NFL Podcast. I'm Will Brinson. I'm your host. It is Monday, July 25th. Is that right? 24th, maybe? Whatever. If you're listening to the podcast, if you're watching with us on YouTube live, youtube.com/pick6, it is Friday, July 22nd. I hope everyone is having a fantastic or is planning to have or just had a fantastic weekend. It's time for a little mailbag. John Breech is not here to do his normal voice, so I'll try instead. Mailbag. How's that for a Breech mailbag impersonation, Wilson?
Oh,
Ryan Wilson joining me, by the way.
That's a 2.5 out of 10. That wasn't great.
I was going for a 1.
Oh, okay. Well, you're going in the right direction.
Just trying to bomb as badly as possible. For those that listened to yesterday's show, we sort of did 2 podcasts at once. We were hoping to minimize the workload on various people. Yeah, maybe take it a little easy on a Friday. But you know who won't do that? Let us do that, Wilson. The old taskmaster.
Easy for you to say. Person who speaks for a living.
I was like, taskmaster. That's kind of a weird word, right?
Taskmaster. Yeah.
Is it masker or master?
No, master.
Taskmaster.
Someone who is the master of giving people tasks.
Yeah, I think masker, maybe. I'll go with masker.
That sounds like you're dressed up and
like eyes of light shut or something.
Yeah. but not nearly as many handsome people in that room.
That's correct. Yeah, you're right. I still sound echoey. Apologies. I did buy some soundproofing stuff. It's not working.
By the way, you have to install it. You can't just buy it.
No, I bought it and I bought padding and put it up. And
that's a conversation I would have. I joked about this earlier. I'd have to have my 15-year-old son. Like he would buy something to think it would fix something. And then he's like, oh, you have to put it up? Yeah, you got to put it up. Brinson Jr. That's what I should have named him.
You know what? I would have rolled with it. I don't care.
Anywho. All right, here we go. This seems like
a little book out. You got your little book.
I found this is boring. It's not morbid, but it's something that
I'm cracking the ranch water. I think I'm cracking.
Yeah, go ahead and crack it, and then
it's Friday.
You ain't got no job. All right, I don't know if I want to ask this one.
You got bleep to do.
Ain't got bleep to do. All right, I'll ask this one.
I watched Friday in a hot minute.
I watched it 6 months ago. I was just bored. I was sitting in my basement.
It's great, right? I mean,
it's fantastic.
Holds up for sure. You know what else holds up really well, by the way? Office Space.
Oh yeah, of course, absolutely. Yeah, no, without a doubt. And I've been rewatching Veep again. So, the boss is Ken. He's also in Veep. He's
Lumberg.
Lumberg, yeah. His name's Ken. He's the math guy, the stats guy.
Lumberg bleeped her.
He looked like he hasn't changed. Like he's gotten a few grayer hairs the last 20 years, but he looks pretty much the same.
That's Office Space is like the tour de force of character actors.
By the way, Dietrich Bader's in Office Space, also in Veep. He's the next door neighbor of the main character.
Oh my God, you're right. And he's the uppity White House assistant. Oh my God, good call. What a combination of roles that is.
And by the way, how do I know Dietrich Bader's real name?
I don't know. I don't know.
And I don't know.
You know how I know? It's one of those things where you're watching the show and you're like, it's like the smart TV or it's the HBO thing, and you hit pause.
Not even.
And really?
I actually happen to know his name.
You know what I'm talking about, though, right? Like when it lists the name.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah. Amazon Prime is much better about that than Netflix, for example. But right, if you have a smart
Amazon
TV.
Prime is the best about it, yes.
All right, here's a quick one to get started. Would you rather?
How do you know Dietrich Bader's name?
He was in the Beverly Hillbillies movie.
What the hell?
And he was also in the Drew Carey show. And I think that's how I used to know because I like the Drew Carey show back in the day.
Carey show, my God.
Yeah, Cleveland Rocks.
Old Mimi, comedian. That's terrible. I shouldn't actually. Drew Carey's a colleague of ours, so I shouldn't call him terrible.
Oh, I like that show. It's a good show.
It's a good show. Cleveland Rocks. Can you name the? Man, this show's already off the rails early. I like it. Can you name the band?
No,
I think Cleveland Rocks.
I don't think I ever knew the band. Who is it?
Do you know
the sweater people that you keep watching?
The sweater people.
My Morning Jacket. That's my answer to everything. My morning.
You remember a song called Lump?
Oh yeah, Presidents of the United States of America.
That's who did the Cleveland Rocks.
Yeah, how about that? Maybe I did
I
know
love
that.
I took guitar lessons for like a very, very small period of time when I was younger. And
Wait, you started something, didn't finish it? Get out of here.
Wilson, down hard.
Like that doesn't check out. Anyway, you learned lump. Let me guess.
I tried to come in and say, "Hey, Jerry, I want to learn lump," and he was like, I was going to teach you a good song, but sure, I'll teach you the 2 chords that the President of the United States of America play on lump. You loser.
So was that guitar lesson number 1?
It was number 3, and then 4 never happened. Yada yada yada. I can't play guitar.
now I'm hosting a podcast.
I can still probably play. I can still probably play a couple power chords, and maybe if you gave me like 15 minutes, play the beginning of "Come as You Are" by Nirvana.
Well, I play guitar as a form of therapy, so I can teach you how to play those songs if you want.
I don't believe that you play. Oh my god, you play so much acoustic guitar.
Oh yeah, 100% have acoustic guitar. Why would I have an electric guitar as a grown man sitting in my basement?
I mean, it's not any better than having an acoustic guitar sitting in your basement. What are you like
I don't
playing?
pay for an amplifier and a bunch of
playing like Third Eye Blind anthems. Like, what are you doing?
Third Eye Blind. No, I play my own special take on all the Fish songs. It's a 5-hour affair live on YouTube.
That feels like you're deflecting because you don't really want to tell people what you play on guitar.
Oh, right now I'm learning Angelus by Elliott Smith. Elliott Smith, by the way, do not listen to the lyrics. The soundtrack of Good Will Hunting is a lot of Elliott Smith songs, so I've always liked that song. It's incredibly hard to play, but I got all day, so there's that. What else? Oh, Hey Joe, play that.
Hey Joe's a great song.
That's a fun song.
I was actually listening to Jimi Hendrix last night.
Hey, what can you do is a pretty easy song to play. That's a fun song to play.
Okay.
Yeah, Jimi Hendrix isn't bad. It turns out he might be honest.
Yeah, I mean, I just think that this is the theory. And so I've had my Led Zeppelin theory, and it's not really a theory. It's just like a take, I guess.
Something you've stolen from someone else. Go ahead.
No, it's mine. Surprisingly, that like Zeppelin has been underrated for quite some time now by the general public.
You mean in the last 20 years or something?
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
Like when I assume you and I were both in high school, Led Zeppelin was like the biggest band on the planet.
I was going to say, in the late 80s and early 90s, there was no one sleeping on Led Zeppelin.
No, like I had like the 4-disc and thought like everyone was into Zeppelin.
Because 106 was the hard rock station in Raleigh at the time. I think you said it switched over to something else.
It's 100.7 now.
They moved down the dial a little bit. Because G105 was the pop music, and I don't know.
G105 is still rolling, man.
That's funny, man. G105.
You know that the G105 when you talk to Adam Gold, he is like 5 feet away from the G105 studio.
What? But he's not on that station, right? He's on a different station.
999 and G105 are owned by the same company.
Okay, but they don't simulcast.
Well, no. There's a pop studio and a sports studio.
Gotcha. What?
I haven't been in there since pre.
What is your Led Zeppelin theory?
Oh no, I just think they're underrated. And my Jimi Hendrix take was going to be that, like Hendrix, like I think Zepp's kind of moved back to a little more mainstream. Like people were listening to it maybe more often than they were like 5 years ago. Yeah, Hendrix has drifted into extremely underrated territory in terms of like legendary musicians who just don't get enough run on.
You don't hear them a lot, but I don't.
I'm saying
I don't know what's. I mean, you obviously run in different musical circles than I do, but I don't hear them a lot. But again, that's just me.
Like, and Axis Bold, and the other part of the problem too, I think, is like.
Did you say Axis Foley?
Axis Bold as Love, the album.
Oh, I thought you said
I was listening to it last night. Like to listen to it through its like, and I actually ordered a vinyl copy at some point last night too.
Yeah, I'm the hipster, but you're ordering records, 33s. Okay,
LPs, baby. It's just got a bunch of bangers on it.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I ended up playing, just to bring this full circle, I basically played the music I used to listen to in the 80s, 90s, a little 2000s, the aughts. That's about it. Like I don't think I play anything recent because I don't know what's going on recently.
I bet. Do you play any Bare Naked Ladies?
No. Oh, I played some. Some Foo Fighters. I play a little bit of that.
You really?
Yeah, I like Dave Grohl.
What is the most like? What is the song that you play that your 15-year-old son, who he hears it and is like, "You are such a dork, Dad." It's like Zepp, he's not gonna hear like, "Hey, what could you do?" and be like, "Oh, like why are you playing that?"
I
Like,
don't
there's
know.
no way he knows what like listens to Led Zeppelin.
Well, like I think I learned Jingle Bell Rock during Christmas. That was fun.
Oh my god! You know what you should do? See,
Put out a Christmas album.
all right. So like you've been complaining about. I mean, I don't want to make your stuff make your biz public, but like you got a 15-year-old kid. He's a
I
pain in the
complained
ass.
about it. I complained about an HQ about an hour and a half ago.
Right. And so what I guess my point is like you wanted to call him Brinson Jr. Well, if I tell you something that's gonna like annoy your 15-year-old, it's probably gonna work. So you know what you should do? This is what I would do if I were you.
Oh boy, can't wait for this parenting advice. Go ahead.
I would, for the remaining days of July, strap your acoustic guitar over your head. And when
Over
you're
my head.
or whatever, just put the guitar on your.
Oh, okay. I was like, what? What are you talking about?
Don't hold it above your head and like jam.
Scratches that out. All right,
Wait
go ahead.
till your 15-year-old gets home. Preferably, he's at home with friends or like on a phone call, and you yell out, "It's Christmas in July, baby!" and just start playing Jingle Bell Rock, and like don't stop. Just do not like play the entire song, and then walk back downstairs, put your guitar down, and do that every day for the rest of July. And he will hate. He won't have any kind of comeback. I promise. Just try it once.
No, I think that's right. He's had his buddies over consistently. They might like it.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, the problem is that like you do run the risk of like you have to. It takes a lot of confidence to do that. You have to be willing to look extremely.
And as I said to you before, you like to lean into
right
awkwardness and anger, whereas I, like most people, tend to run away from it.
Right. Yeah. I would like. I don't know what I don't. Oh my god! I can't wait till Robbie's 15 and has friends over. And I can just.
Yeah, we'll see. It's a box of rainbows.
15-year-old like 15-year-old like boys are the most petrifying audience on the entire planet to like be talking to, because they're just full-blown sarcastic, like don't give a bleep.
No, his friends are he's not
respectful. Oh
yeah, no, his friends are solid. They're good kids. I like him. He's just like a 15-year-old boy in that he's like dumb, and all 15-year-old boys are dumb. Like he's no dumber than anyone else. They don't understand what you're saying. You have to repeat things 10, 15, 20 times. You get a lot of blank stares. He's got his, he always has one AirPod in. So he has to, and it's always the one facing you somehow. So he's got to take that out to hear what you said when you're basically telling him to do something you told him to do already 50 times. It's a whole thing.
It doesn't sound like that big a deal.
In the scheme of things, like he's not doing drugs. He's not, fornicating as far as I know.
At you, is he?
No, I mouth off at him. Yeah. This is a one-way mouth off conversation, and he just sort of listens to it and goes on about his day. And I think that makes me angry that he doesn't even respond. At least you have the decency to say something that makes me even angrier. All right, here we go. First, would you rather, to get this Mailbag Friday started off that you might hear on Monday, depending on when you listen.
So my boy Ryan Wilson over at CBS Sports.
That was my son. All right, here we go. Would you rather always pick your nose immediately before shaking hands, or constantly have one hand, including your wrist, down your pants?
I mean, why are you? These seem like real life scenarios.
That's amazing. I love that someone had to write this down on a sheet of paper as part of their job.
Well, I mean, all right. So
before you answer, there's a little note here. I haven't been reading. I mean, this note says in Indonesia, the penalty for masturbation is decapitation. So just keep that in mind.
Well, there's just a pretty big gulf between having your hand on your pants and masturbation. I feel like.
Yeah, but if you're doing it in Indonesia in public,
I hope Devo's on a call right now. He's like freaking out.
He's like Edward R. Rooney, Dean of Students, scrambling to
Edward R. Rooney
running around the table, not to.
I got a gummy bear in my pocket.
Anyway, what's your poison? Pick your nose right before you shake someone's hand all the time, or always have your hands, including your wrists, down your britches.
That's a tough. I mean, I think the answer is hand down pants. I think that is less. Because all right, so like every time you shake somebody's hand, and presumably you have to shake hands, like you can't like be like, oh, I'm just gonna do the COVID elbow pound.
Even if it's a fist bump, that's still weird. If it's still with the finger that you picked your nose with.
It's like every single person that you meet or see. So like you basically have to take your normal course of life where you
with 1 3-second exception.
right, but I'm saying like it's not like you get to like cut out a bunch of handshakes. You still are doing the
No,
same.
everything's the same.
Except every single time, like you are a pariah.
Yeah, and I think if you have your hand down your pants, people don't necessarily get used to it, but it's not as big a shock as you sticking your finger halfway up your face.
I mean, look, I've definitely been like, I mean,
a nose picker,
close, like whether it's like, no, I mean, I'll pick, I'll pick my nose. I don't care, but I don't want to do it before I shake somebody's hand.
Right.
I mean, as far as you know,
well done.
That was accidental. Sorry. But the hands on the pants thing, like, I mean, I'll sit on a couch at like my parents' house with my hands down my pants and like not, you know what I'm saying? Like, and like my mom will be like, "Are you serious?" I'm like, "What?"
Yeah, but you're not doing it at work.
Well,
I mean, you didn't do it.
You can't see my other hand, can you?
I mean, when we have to get together for work purposes, not when you're, below the camera isn't showing what you're up to. But I mean,
but point being is it's hands down pants easily.
Yeah. So think about it this way. So we all were in LA for the Super Bowl. Let's say the moment you landed, you had your hand down your pants. You did the podcast on set, on air, on HQ, hand down your pants. Went to dinner, hand down your pants. Got in the Uber to go to your friend's house in Pacific Palisades.
I want you to think about how many hands you shook out at dinner, though.
Well, that's the first half. The second half is, okay, we had Kayvon Thibodeau on set. I picked my nose before shaking his hand. We had Ray Lewis on set.
He's not shaking your hand. He's like, what is the matter with you? And he throws you out the building. Like you're just
it's like
somebody's going to beat you up within like 3 months of having to.
It's like a Punk'd. It's like that's actually something out of Punk'd. I feel like you would do that.
Yeah, for impractical jokers or something. Yeah, I mean, like I'm going hands down pants.
So I think that's the answer. Hands down pants.
Now, part of that too is like you need to be if you're constantly now, like, do you have to can you use your other hand to like fist pound or shake hands?
Sure. I think.
I mean that's if you're like, hey, look, my left hand. I mean, everybody's assuming that your hands are, you're not exactly like a clean, hygienic, germaphobe if you've got your hand down your pants 24/7. I mean,
I think if you leave one hand down your pants and you shake with the other hand, it's even weirder. Like you refuse to take your hand out of your pants for some reason. So I think, you can use whichever hand you want, but I think the rules as they're written is that they have to stay down forever.
So it's just down. It'd be hard to like. First of all, you can't exercise.
That's the least of your concerns, exercising.
I'm just thinking of things you can't do when your hand.
You can run in place. You can do layups. I can't do jump shots.
It would be like I like having. I mean, I'm very comfortable having my hand down my pants.
You can run. You can jog.
You're never. Yeah. Can I play golf?
If you can play with one hand down your pants, you can.
Well, see, that's a game changer then. I'm going nose pick if I can't play golf ever again.
Okay. Well, there you have it.
Well, I'm going to say like, I'm sorry, I don't shake hands.
You can't. No, that's not going to work. See,
I have to. People just stop shaking your hand.
Well, COVID would have been the best thing for you in terms of
if you're the nose pick handshake guy, like you this happens like 5 or 6 times. Like your close friends ask you about it. You're like, obviously you can't tell them the deal. Like you can't be like, I just have to pick my nose because I did a
would you rather?
I did a would you rather bet that I lost. So you're like, it's just a thing. I can't help it. But then like publicly, like people just stop shaking your hand. Like people come up to you and they're like, "Hey, what's up, bro?" And then they like take a step back.
Like, when they meet you, but
you would actually become a cleaner person.
But here's the thing: people that don't know you don't know that. So when we're at a company event and the head of CBS is there and you shake his hand, that's what he or she sees. This idiot picking his nose.
You're getting fired pretty quickly, probably.
Yeah, in the time it takes you to stick your finger in your nose, I'm pretty sure you're getting fired.
Redacted name of redacted former high-ranking CBS person. So, you see him at a Super Bowl event, and you're like, "Oh man, I can't believe I got to shake this guy's hand." And then all of a sudden, you have to pick your nose, and then he says, "You're fired."
All right, so that's a would you rather. By the way, once again, shout out to Brinson for the last podcast telling people to request money from Venmo because those have been coming fast and furious.
Any good ones? Any good ones?
Let me see.
I've seen the $1, the $1 million, the $69, The $1 one.
Joe Sanchez requests $100. He's degenerate sports betting behavior. Let's see. Derek Scholl requests $100, and he sent me a reminder because he wants to have a bachelor party. I don't know what kind of $100 bachelor party he's having, but hopefully it works
Did I
out.
see that one? Oh no, I saw that on when I looked yesterday at your Venmo. I guess I can look.
I don't know if I sent you this one. Gabriel Swanson asked for $20 because he's hungry, bro.
So good.
So I think that's caught up.
Oh wait, Derek Shaw requested money from me too. Get out of here, buddy.
Nice.
$200 from you know what?
Not so funny now, is it?
What's that?
Not so funny now, is it?
I had somebody who requested $15 from me. This is like like a year ago. And the person said, "Oops, wrong person. Sorry. If you feel it in your heart, feel free to return it." I was like, you didn't pay me anything. So it was a pretty clever little scam.
I was going to say, I wonder how many times people accidentally click the fill request button.
Well, so like for yours, so you have to, in theory, type in your last 4 digits of your phone number.
Oh, okay.
By the way, if you want to request money from Ryan Wilson, his Venmo is Ryan-Wilson-37831, which I've almost memorized at this point, which is hysterical. Just gross. Do that. Send him weird requests now while we're on the podcast. He's going to get emails and like alerts about him. It's going to annoy him. He's going to think it's kind of funny. Just fire up $1 request.
That's
Ryan-Wilson.
1 cent, $1, whatever. If it makes you feel good. And by the way, I wanted Sam C to let him know that I did get his request, or actually he gave $1. I should make that clear.
If I could pay with, if I could pay with my Venmo balance, I would pay for Derek Scholl's bachelor party.
Sam C gave $1 to the tattoo fund and also wanted to be known that he never got his Brinson Sucks hat. I passed that information on to Debo. So fingers crossed, Sam C, you will get your hat.
I believe Debo's response was the next podcast producer can take care of that, which is very telling for a number of different reasons. One, it's indicative of Debo's work ethic, which, as we know, is lacking these days, and that's okay. It doesn't really matter. His boss quit listening to this podcast, so don't worry about it. I'm just kidding. I don't know if BK listens or not. And then 2, it really tells you that I think there's some frustration from Debo. He thought he'd be gone from this podcast by now, and the reality that he's never leaving is starting to creep in.
I do love the fact that you realize that you're basically dunking on yourself, but you are still going to finish the joke to take a shot at Debo.
Yeah, sure. I don't care. Okay. What are we doing today? We're doing a mailbag. Is that right?
Yeah, it's Mailbag Friday, Monday.
Oh, you know what?
What?
I'm going to need to take next Friday off. Just FYI.
Well, it should be me and Debo then, because Breech is already on vacation.
The band called Fish is coming to Raleigh.
Yeah, have you ever seen them before?
I think, you know what? How far are you from Hartford?
A long way. Hartford's actually like 2 hours from Stanford, I think. It's a good little hump.
Yeah, they're playing over there on Sunday. I was thinking about randomly jumping. I'm not going to do it. I just, sometimes you get a wild hair.
I hear you.
Anywho, mailbag question. If Breech is here, he would say, mailbag.
That was better.
Thank you. Mailbag Q from My Name for Brinson's Tattoo on Apple Podcasts from Australia.
Oh, I like that.
The Australia fact?
I like the fact that could be possibly your tattoo if you win the best podcast in the world award.
Ian Marquez asked, do you think Nada is dreading this job the way Brinson talks about Debo?
Yes.
I mean, have you heard Debo talk about me?
And Nada has actually
Nada does the Eye on College Basketball podcast primarily,
which is a
much
180
more professional job.
Matt Norlander. If you lined up Matt Norlander in the spectrum of people, Brinson is at the exact opposite.
Yeah. I'm a Z and he's an A.
Yes.
Nada is I don't know. I don't think he minds this podcast because it's not like he's not doing it every day. So it's like it's like you do A every day, and then like occasionally you get a little Z. Like once a week you get some Z. You know?
It's like when you have to babysit your 3-year-old grandkid who's a huge butthole, but you only have to do it once a month. You're not doing it every day.
That was a depressingly accurate analogy. I might like snarf at some point on this podcast. Anyway, my name for Brinson's tattoo from Australia asked, "Can you please speculate?" Oh, and not. I don't think not as good. Unless I'm wrong. I think it should be somebody else. They could have hired him by now.
They have to hire someone who has no previous interactions with Will Brinson.
Yeah, what happened is they were getting a bunch of like applications for the job, and then I retweeted it, and everybody's like, "Nope, I'm out."
Right.
They realize who they have to work with. Can you please speculate on and rank the best, worst available head coaching positions going into the 2023 season? This year, there were 5 vacancies and the top candidates for those positions. Thanks for the fun and in-depth analysis. Always a pleasure.
Well, this is pretty easy to start. Sean Payton.
You want to start candidates? Yeah.
Candidate number 1 is Sean Payton.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, let's. All right. So, all right. Let's do. Let's find legit. We did this. Breech and I did this looking at possible GBG trade candidates. I just think this is sort of how my brain always operates when I'm trying to narrow down a list of NFL teams.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's possible the Jets job could come open. I don't think it's likely, but that's the only AFC East job that could come open. I think Robert Saleh has one more year. Almost.
Yeah, I think Robert Saleh is fine. I think Zach Wilson might be on a hotter seat than Robert Saleh for measuring temperature.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. So I mean,
what if
it would be okay? So. The Dolphins are not having turnover. We're not going down the page.
What if Sean Payton wants to coach in Miami?
Well, that's not a job. That's a candidate. All right. All right. Bengals, nobody's going anywhere. Steelers, nobody's going anywhere. At Browns, I don't think so. John Harbaugh's not going anywhere. So that's 2 divisions down where nobody's getting fired. The Titans aren't moving on from Mike Vrabel. Frank Reich's job is safe, barring like an absolute nightmare. I don't think the Texans, who have been...
Yeah, they have no history of firing guys after 1 year.
It would be a really, really bad look to fire a black head coach back-to-back 1 year.
You did it once. Might as well double down. I mean,
like the Texans, have the Texans been sued as part of like the NFL's like discrimination?
Yeah, but as you pointed out, they
sued by a bunch of women.
They
like,
settled.
Texans cannot afford any bad PR. They're not firing Lovie Smith after 1 year.
Okay.
I don't. Right.
Doug's not going anywhere, so that's
Andy Reid is safe. Josh McDaniels safe. Brandon Staley is safe. Who's not going to be a single coach from the AFC fired?
How much are you willing to bet?
Oh, no, there's a
Houston, over under. Here you go. Over under 1.5 coaches in the AFC. Job openings.
I would take the over, and I don't.
You would take the over 1.5?
I mean, I don't feel comfortable about it, but yeah.
Okay. I don't know where they're coming from. Assuming
Cowboys is all right. Well, all right, Cowboys is a legitimate possible opening.
Yes.
And that's a big time Sean Payton factor too. Washington won't fire Ron Rivera. The Giants just hired Brian Dable.
I would put it 2.5 in the NFC East.
2.5?
Yeah.
What? Like two and a half coaches in the NFC? Like 3?
Yeah, I'm not sure about Rivera because we don't know what's happening with Dan Snyder. Well,
Snyder's.
There are a lot of variables that could end up messing things up in Washington.
I think Ron Rivera has too much power in that organization.
I'll say 2. 2.5 is sort of high, but I'll say 2.
1.5 is a spicy over under.
I would say that maybe Nick Sirianni, if things go like terribly in Philly, I wonder if they would reconsider. Again, Sean Payton is waiting in the wings type of situation.
Eric has entered the chat with audio on. No, not going to come in and defend your man.
He was not happy with Nick at the start of the last season. Then he sort of got his act together.
He's fine.
Yeah, see?
But do you mean like he's fine, like his job is fine, or like he's fine as a coach?
I think both. Honestly, both apply. Like
he's fine is such a...
Well, Debo wasn't happy with him to start last season.
Rightfully so at the beginning of last season, but also I could say the same thing about the quarterback and some other players. So yeah, I think things are trending upwards, but it wouldn't be like absolutely shocking. There's some decent expectations on the team this year. If they fall flat and are 6-11.
What if they're 6-11 and Sean Payton wants that job? Where are you on that?
Are you out on the Eagles because I'm in on the Eagles? Is that what is happening?
No, he's trying to balance your optimism. He doesn't want to.
No, I just in cases in the past when there is this much excitement around the team, I feel like it is just kind of setting up for disappointment.
Right. So basically, the Miles Sanders dream team style comments have got you just rattled.
He said that.
He said something. He's like, it feels like an all-star game or something.
We have a team of all-stars.
Oh, that's not.
No,
good.
I'm not.
He was Vince Youngish.
Yeah, not as demonstrative or like ambitious as Vince Young, especially.
And he wasn't the backup quarterback either.
Right. I mean, I'm not booking the tickets to Arizona quite yet, but I'm hopeful. But yes, if Sean Payton shows interest and this year goes poorly, sign me up.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll move on to a different division where you handle the comment section, Devo. The Packers, nothing's happening there. The Vikings just hired Kevin O'Connell. The Bears just hired Matt Eberflus. I guess they could fire him after 1 year if it's like really, really badly, but that'd be surprising. The Lions aren't firing Dan Campbell.
I'm going to put this at a half.
I think under is probably juice, but I agree.
You wouldn't take the over of a half?
Not in that division.
All right.
Are we talking? No, to be clear, like we're talking firings or vacancies.
Yeah, no retirements, no weird situation, no John Gruden type situations. Just you got fired, you got a pink slip.
Yeah, I would take the under there. I think.
I would.
Todd Bowles is.
Oh my gosh, I'm going to set this at 2.5 right now in the NFC South.
That's a good number.
2.5.
Because
it might be 3.5. I forgot about Carolina. It might be 3.5.
You forgot about Carolina. Matt Rule's like minus 300.
Well, I was going down the last year's first to last list. So it was Tampa, New Orleans, Atlanta, then Carolina. I'm going to set it at 3. What are you taking on 3?
It's gonna be a half. You get 2.5 or 3.5. It's gonna be 2.5.
2.5 is too easy. No one's taking the under in 2.5.
That means you think 3/4 of the division is getting fired.
All right, 2.5. What are you taking?
The over. I think the over 2.5 is probably like plus 150. I mean, 3 out of 4 coaches fired a division is pretty hefty.
Okay, let's go through them.
I don't think Todd Bowles will get fired.
Okay. Do the other 3.
Hey, look, Matt Rule and Arthur. I want to say that Arthur Blank is extremely patient. I think, right?
Well, they won 7 games last year.
He's like secretly not patient.
He's not getting younger, as Spanky White.
But like you trade Matt Ryan, it's like very clear that they're rebooting.
Okay.
I would take the under
2.5. Wow. Okay.
But I mean, two getting fired in there would not be surprising at all. I mean, I think Matt Rule is fired if he doesn't make the playoffs, and if they start like 1-5,
he might get fired if they go to the playoffs. I'm not even joking.
David Tepper is itching to fire somebody.
If they go 9-8 and they lose in the playoffs like the Titans did to the Bengals, he's getting fired.
I mean, David Tepper, like David Tepper's like firing people from his soccer team just because he's like he's like, I'm going to fire somebody. I can't fire Rule yet. I've got to fire somebody.
Soccer team.
These brass balls back here aren't going to fire themselves.
Oh yeah, that's the thing. I forgot.
And then in the NFC West,
1.5.
Jesus, you're firing everybody.
Well, I'll tell you,
we're out here with firings. This is wild.
I think Cliff Kingsbury is going to be interesting, and I wonder if Pete Carroll
extension.
Pete Carroll might retire, so that in this case that includes retirements. He doesn't want to retire, but I think he may be asked. Maybe they'll push him out to get more progressive in terms of.
All right, so give me your 5 best possible vacancies. Is that what the original question? I mean,
Dallas.
And look, like the point of this was that the point of this exercise to go through these and look at it was to note that to me, at least right now, and it's it's obviously July. Everybody's optimistic. Everybody can win 9 games at this point, except the Falcons and Bears.
So Dallas
is the number 1 opening for sure.
I'm going to throw Arizona in there. I know he's just signed a deal. Cliff did, but I don't know if that matters. They drafted Josh Rosen in the first round, and then 12 months later they moved on from him.
That would be wild if they had if they started 7 or 6-2, and then finished 7-10, and Kyler was a disaster down the stretch, and Hopkins got hurt, and the Bidwell.
Well, Hopkins is not going to play the first 6 games too.
I know, that's what I'm saying. I
don't know if I have 5 teams. So,
where's the Panthers? The Panthers have to be on the list somewhere because there's the highest. Well, even if it's not the most attractive job, the percentage chance of Matt Rule getting is extremely high.
Yeah, Arizona has an asterisk because I mean that feels perhaps as far fetched as any of the names I'll mention. I think it's all NFC teams. and you can choose the order: Atlanta, Carolina, and then I'll put Washington on there too. 'Cause
People,
I don't think anyone in the NFC North is getting fired.
people keep mentioning, or I've seen Mike Vrabel mentioned in the comments, like, or Tennessee. Like, man, I don't think. I mean, Mike Vrabel has been awesome as a head coach. I would be
I feel
really
like if he's not there, it's because he doesn't want to be there.
yeah,
Otherwise,
yeah. I think so too. All right, so like maybe he's because it's entirely possible that Vrabel is like a Tannehill guy, and he doesn't want like he just maybe he doesn't. I mean, I don't know. I'm just floating a hypothetical. Like he's not a big Malik Willis guy, and he's mad that they traded AJ Brown and that they're moving on from Tannehill and that their whole approach is just in contrast to what he wants to do. And he's like, I'm out. And you have so we'll include Tennessee for that reason.
I mean, you mentioned the Jets. I don't think so. They're not gonna. I don't think they're gonna win 4 games. If they do, it'll be on Zach Wilson, not Robert Saleh as the reason why. But maybe is Woody Johnson still running things, or is his brother?
Yeah, Woody's back.
All right. So who knows?
No more ambassador to Barbados for Woody.
Was it Barbados? I think it was China. Where was it? It was England.
Yeah, maybe Scotland. I don't know. I had a friend. One of my dad's friends was the ambassador to the Barbados for the old W regime, or maybe it was the original Bush regime. Yeah. That wasn't. It was an accidental humble brag. I didn't mean to do that. Sorry.
Didn't feel like an accident.
Yeah, I know. I wasn't on purpose. I really didn't mean to.
All right, so that's the teams.
Right, so Arizona, Tennessee, Dallas, and
Carolina, Atlanta
are the 4 most likely. And Tennessee's not really likely. We're just
Carolina, Atlanta. I put Washington in there. The Jets.
It's hard to find. And look, all this changes in like week 6 when some teams 1-5. And
was John Gruden the first coach to be without a job last year? Or was he the first?
You're scared to even say if you didn't know he was fired because
he wasn't fired. He resigned.
Yeah, he was the first guy gone.
I wonder if anyone bet that.
Yeah, his odds weren't that long because they've been so bad. The general public was under the impression that John Gruden could get fired for performance reasons, not realizing that John Gruden was essentially like as powerful as Mark Davis in that organization.
Except he didn't understand how email worked.
Right? It's really Bruce Allen's fault there, but yeah, he's like more powerful than Mark Davis, based simply on his haircut and his ability, the type of car he drove. So we need a 5th team. Houston
could be in there. I keep mentioning Washington and the Jets, but you don't respond.
I really would. I would be surprised if Ron Rivera got fired, but
I just mean because all the tumult surrounding that team. Would
you rather take the Panthers or the Jets job?
Jets. I mean,
yeah, I don't think that's a wrong answer. It's just
the Jets draft last year was Sauce Gardner, Garrett Wilson, Jermaine Johnson, and Breech Hall in the first 2 rounds. I don't think I would. I mean, like, and please don't play this on Charlotte radio. Actually, I would say it on Charlotte radio. I don't really care, but I don't think I'd want to work for David Tepper. Can't believe you said that out loud.
Maybe he'll give us. Maybe he gives you a bunch of money, and that's great. But like, he and Marty Herney, who also no longer works for the team,
former Washington Post reporter.
What's that?
Former Washington Post reporter Marty Herney,
a former radio host in Charlotte, multiple-time GM. Pete Briscoe called him the what do you call him? The patron saint of media members turned GMs. I think he did in a private text, so I shouldn't say that. Anyway,
another humble brag.
Yes, I texted Pete. Humble brag. What was I trying to say? Anyway,
you don't want to work for David.
They flew to Waco and like wined and dined Matt Rule and gave him this huge contract, and both sides sold each other on this incredible rebuild and like how they were gonna 6-year plan, blah 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 blah. And like 2 years in, it's like Matt Rule's got the hottest seat in football.
Sort of surprised he didn't leave last year. They pull one of those things.
Yeah, I was too. I thought he might take the Notre Dame job. So Philly, Washington. If Debo thinks it's possible, it's possible. I think the Saints are maybe in there. I don't know. We're doing a terrible job answering this question. Oh my God.
Well, 5 is a lot. What about the candidates? So Sean Payton's number 1. After that,
it's a single question mailbag, maybe. Yeah, Sean Payton is 1. Trying to think of
I'm not up on the young whippersnappers who are making names.
I'm trying to think of like who's the Because like everybody's kind of bolted the Kyle Shanahan. Like everybody's bolted the Kyle Shanahan nest, so to speak.
What about? Well, I mean, there's still. I had to Google this real quick because I forgot. Byron Leftwich is still out there. Eric Bieniemy still out there. What about Brian Flores?
Yeah,
I mean,
it's hard to hire him until that lawsuit's cleared up, though.
but here's the thing: like that happened, that Senior Bowl, like that Wednesday practice, I think, and everyone at the Senior Bowl just sort of stopped what they were doing and like, what in the world? And the consensus was he's never going to coach again. And a month and a half later, he's coaching for the Steelers, and no one is batting an eye about it. I think he's going to be in the mix for head coaching jobs.
Okay. Oh, Byron Leftwich. Did you say?
Yeah, I said Byron. Just said Bieniemy.
I
don't know any of the young whippersnappers. I know that Prisco and JJ seem to be up on those sort of things because that's.
No, the problem is like almost all of them got like Todd Bowles, Dennis Allen.
D'Amico Ryans is another guy that
table, like all the big names got hired. Matt Eberflus is a big name. Flores is still a big name. Nathaniel Hackett was a guy.
Here's something to keep in mind. So Raheem Morris is another name, former coach who's now sort of made his way back.
Yeah, Raheem Morris is good. That's a good call.
So Raheem, D'Amico, Byron, Bieniemy, Flores, those are all people of color. I think that Brian Flores actually.
Vance Joseph, he might get a look too.
Vance Joseph. So this could be the year where.
Gerard Mayo is.
Gerard Mayo. I don't know. Is he that far along in terms of
he and Steve Belichick. Yeah, I think he is that far along.
Okay.
He and Steve Belichick are essentially. By the way, the Patriots don't have a single
coach
named offensive coordinator or defensive coordinator. Either one named.
I love it. I love it. I saw the headline. I didn't go too deep. I just saw that.
Kellen Moore, Quinn.
Dan Quinn, yes. Kellen Moore, yeah. I'm sort of soured on Kellen Moore because I feel like Dan Quinn had a much better year than Kellen Moore did.
Yeah, I mean that's fine. I'm just saying he's.
But yeah, my point was that it could be a run on minority coaching hires for the head coaching job, just because there's so many out there now that are young and making a name for themselves. Leslie Frazier's still out there. He's
Jonathan Gannon, DC for the Eagles is
Debo's guy.
Yeah, Luke Getsy, who's now the OC with Denver, was the QB coach with the Packers and followed Nathaniel Hackett, I believe. Is be in the mix. Trying to think. Hines Ward, of course.
Yeah, I don't think Hines Ward's going to be in the coaching.
Remember the Texans interviewed him
for the head coaching job?
Yeah, last before they hired freaking.
That's hysterical.
He's the wide receivers coach at Florida Atlantic.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, they were basically trying to hire Josh McCown. Maybe they fired Lovey for Josh McCown. Who knows? D'Amico Ryans.
Yeah, I mentioned him.
Okay, sorry. I was thinking while you were.
It was part of my conversation of minority hiring might potentially being upticked.
Pete Carmichael could be in the mix.
He's got a job
as an offensive coordinator.
Oh wait, what's the head coach's name?
Dennis Allen.
Oh right, Dennis Allen. Because Pete Carmichael has been the OC there forever.
Lou Anarumo, maybe.
The
Eagles defense is great again.
Who's the DC for?
Cincinnati.
Oh, right. I knew that. The name sounded familiar. I couldn't place it. Right. Yeah. No, that's right. Fair enough.
And did you say Patrick Graham?
No, I saw his name, but I got distracted. Yep, he's no longer with the Giants though. Where's
he's
he?
With the Raiders now.
Raiders.
Yeah, like if the Raiders defense is good, then
they should be. Although they're in that division.
Yeah. Okay, that was I guess we should probably.
43 minutes. 20 minutes on my kids and music. 20 minutes on rambling.
Again, like this is the problem with like if you watch the podcast on YouTube, it's much. I mean, it's not much better. It's just like this is like Friday vibes.
Yeah.
This is not like, oh God, it's Monday vibes.
All right, go to Russell B _
Before we go to Russell B, let's take a quick break and then went to another question next. Russell B, similar question. Assuming Matt Rule gets the axe during or after the season, we get another opportunity to be a head coach in the NFL right away. Hell no.
I think the other question is, does he want to coach in the NFL ever again?
That's why I thought he would. Yeah, I mean, clearly he does because he interviewed with the Jets before.
Before what?
before they hired Robert Saleh. He was about to be the Jets head coach. He was taking the job.
But wait, as the Panthers coach or as the Baylor coach?
No.
As the Baylor coach. They haven't been coaching the same number of years.
It was 2019.
Robert Saleh's only been there 1 year, though, right?
No.
This is Robert Saleh's third year?
Yeah.
Who's his quarterback in year one?
Sam Darnold.
Oh, gosh. Man, I repressed a lot. You might be right. Yeah, so COVID was his first year. I can't keep up. Okay. But my point is that Matt Rule had not previously coached in the NFL as a head coach. So now that this experience has likely soured him, he is going back to college, making a buttload of money where he can be the chief of the castle and not have to worry about people telling him what to do other than the president of the university, which he can clearly walk all over.
Yeah.
Or you work for an organization where the owner, as you so eloquently put it, isn't David Tepper.
Well, the Jets tried to tell him who he was going to hire as a head as his.
I remember that now. Yeah, I totally forgot that Saleh was going into year 3.
Yeah. Okay. Next question. Incredible show. Love the banter. I listen every day. This is from Keaton989 via Apple Podcasts. If you want to ask a mailbag question prior to the 2022 season, leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. We will answer any and all mailbag questions.
Or Venmo Brinson with a request and a question.
Yeah. I actually, you know what? We'll do a exclusive Venmo exclusive mailbag in the next couple of weeks. Send your mailbag questions to Ryan. Send the weirdest possible questions.
Yes.
At Ryan-Wilson-37831. I've now memorized it. This is pathetic.
That's hysterical.
Keaton says, incredible show. Love the banter. I listen every day. Not only is it highly entertaining, but also informative. Could present sometimes dry info in a fun way.
Okay.
Mailbag. No question here, but Wilson said that no one would want to watch the tattoo live stream. This is false. Please stream this. Thanks. Love the show.
Okay. I love how if you turn a certain direction, you disappear. If only your wife had that ability in real life to make you disappear. Yeah, I don't care. The logistical challenge is going to be that we're going to be in Nashville for 2 days and pretty tight turnaround. So we have to figure out how to balance the work stuff with the stupidity of me getting a tattoo. But
whoa. Are you trying to build up a little like we might not have time to get a tattoo in Nashville?
I'm flying in on one day and flying.
Oh, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. You wondered what could possibly derail this tattoo this time. It can't be Brinson anymore. It can't be Breech anymore.
What if I lose both my arms in a combine?
This is a new low even for you.
Dude, I am totally fine live streaming this, and I'm totally fine doing it in Nashville. But as has happened in the past, and Debo can attest, you're not the most reliable of people. So if we plan something for 6 p.m. on a Wednesday, and you have some friends in town that you need to see, it'll be, adios, see you later from Brinson. And that's
okay,
not me.
This is classic Wilson.
Classic.
You're trying to wriggle out of this tattoo, and you're trying to
give me another example of classic Wilson.
You're trying to pin this on me. Like it's my fault that I have friends. Like a hypothetical. Like I'm going to ditch a 2-day work event to go see friends in Nashville.
By the way, unlike you, when people give me money, I don't bail. I typically feel beholden.
I gave you money.
No. I mean, in previous examples, I'm doing it. What are we talking about?
All right. Well, if you
Keaton wants to live stream,
and we're live streaming it. The only impediment to live streaming the tattoo in Nashville is like you filing an HR complaint, which is entirely possible.
Yeah, that's in my back pocket.
Yeah, I know this.
Yeah, no, I don't care. I won't be in charge of live streaming. You can do whatever you want to do.
If we have to choose between you getting a tattoo and live streaming it, then we will take the tattoo.
I don't know how long any of this takes. We need Nada for
But you're going to get that tattoo, and if worse comes to worse, Debo's going to pull out his iPhone and put it up on StreamYard. Right, Debo?
That? I don't care.
Yeah, that's the plan. Just
perfect.
We're not going to have like Daniel there. Like
I don't care if you bring Dane there and you have the most expensive camera we have at CBS. That doesn't matter to me. You should be looking at my arm.
We're actually having a set built in the tattoo studio, and I'm going to it's like a podcast set.
I would just suggest you bring the wide angle lens to get my pythons in frame. But other than that, you guys are good to go.
Is this concerned about are you worried you're going to be body shamed?
No.
People are going to be like, oh, I thought you said
as long as I stand next to you and Breech, I'll be fine.
That's fair.
I mean, don't have me stand next to B-Mac and Brady.
No lies detected.
Yeah. I mean, it's like I say all the time, like you got me doing a hit with Danny Cannell. That's one thing. Let me stand next to Breech where I'm 2 feet taller than he is. And that's you got to know your.
You know what Robbie's big into now? It cracks me up. He loves doing. He'll come up and do he'll and this is very much like we wouldn't have done this as kids because there weren't memes and gifs. He'll recreate a gif, the guy who does does the peace sign and then disappears.
No, but I can envision it. Sure.
Okay, well he'll do that. Or
how does he disappear?
Never mind. Or he'll come up and be like,
no. How does Robbie disappear? Like he runs behind the door or something?
He just ducks down.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, what's the other one?
He doesn't evaporate into thin air. Or he'll do the this is fine.
Oh, the dog. I know that one.
This is fine.
That's funny that the kids know that one too.
I know. I watched. We watched, I guess. We watched the Mr. Beast videos. They're pretty funny.
Who's Mr. Beast?
Oh, but you're so old. Ask your 15-year-old.
Oh, you know what? My 10-year-old just told me about Mr. Beast. He's one of the most famous YouTubers. He gives away money. Is that him?
Yeah. He's. I will say.
Your response, by the way, is the exact same response I got 2 days ago when I said, "Who the F is Mr. Beast?"
Your 10-year-old's like, how old are you?
My 10-year-old. Yeah, exactly.
Now, do you know the Debo will probably know this, I would think. The Imagine Dragons joke?
No.
Okay.
Don't do it.
I'm not going to do it on air. My point was that
people got nervous.
I just said, don't do it. Mr. Beast did it on YouTube, and it was fine. It was funny. It's a D's joke.
Okay. Don't do it.
I'm not going to. I really want to. You can see that I really want to.
Oh, it's like an Imagine D's?
Imagine Dragon.
Oh, I thought it was going to be Imagine D's Nuts, which is also sort of.
Oh, you just did it.
See? That's what I said.
What are you doing? I can't believe you did it.
I made the joke. I made it the punchline and nailed it.
In the car, it was like, "Do you like Imagine Dragons?" And I was like, "Oh,
hard yes from you, by the way."
No, I was like, not. I mean, it was like, not really, but sure, buddy. Like, yeah, it's cool. And then he dropped the Imagine Dragon joke on me, and I almost swerved off the road laughing so hard. And every single thing he's done that's been funny for the last 5 or 6 days, he's like, "Is that as funny as Imagine Dragons?" I'm like, "No, nothing will ever be as funny as Imagine Dragons." But the larger point is he learned it from Mr. Beast. He showed me where it was, and I'm letting you know that your 10-year-old is probably aware of the Imagine Dragons joke.
Okay, that's a long way to get there, but sure, he probably does know it.
You should go ask him if he likes Imagine Dragons when we're done.
No, he might say yes, and that would be a bigger crime than him knowing that joke.
Or maybe just start giggling. All right, let's see if we can bang out these last two real quick. At Madrai Rua says, in a battle of Hall of Famers in their prime, who would win? Cowboys Hall of Famer Larry Allen versus Aaron Donald.
That's a question for Prescott.
7-time All-Pros and All-Decade teams. And 2 Hall of Famer Anthony Munoz versus J.J. Watt, a 9-time All-Pro versus 3-time Defensive Player of the Year. That is a fun question.
So I wonder, I remember Anthony.
I'll text Pete while you're talking.
I'm going to look up real quick. Anthony Munoz's playing weight.
A friend of the podcast, Anthony Munoz, by the way.
Yeah, he came on with the great Jim Breech. So Anthony Munoz played at 278.
I think Anthony Munoz is beating J.J. Watt. And I really
he's a good
278. Oh, I see. You're saying he's light.
He's good 25, 35, 40 pounds lighter than what you would see from tackles now. Yeah. I remember watching him in the early 80s along with Jim Breech and Ken Anderson. Chris Collinsworth was on those teams. And obviously knowing who he was, but I do wonder if the lack of girth would hurt him. Like J.J. Watt is no slouch. J.J. Watt's 300 pounds. I mean, maybe a better chance against T.J. Watt, who's closer to 255, 260 or whatever. Larry Allen. Let's see what Larry Allen. I think Larry Allen felt like he was big.
I'll just say I was watching some Reggie White highlights the other day,
Oh,
naturally,
versus Larry Allen, right?
and just busted his ass in half a second.
Yeah.
Put him on the
Reggie White
ground.
busted Larry Allen's ass.
Yeah.
Wow.
Larry Allen 325, by the way. So
I mean, and Larry Allen was as like big as they came
yeah, he was never.
back in the day.
And Reggie White, how tall was Reggie White? 6'5", 300. So he's basically JJ Watt size. And better than JJ Watt.
I actually think the size of Larry Allen would be potentially an impediment against Aaron Donald.
Larry Allen was a high waisted too, so he was like a high.
Like Aaron Donald is getting under, like Aaron Donald's leverage against Larry Allen, like on the side and sort of like underneath, and like his. I think that's kind of a bad matchup.
There were there's speculation that during the Super Bowl that they lost to the Patriots, that Aaron Donald was playing at about 265-ish, which seems incredibly light, but he's also not 6 feet or whatever he's listed at. He's closer to 5'10", I think. I don't think any of that matters. So to pull a Brinson recency effect, I'm going with Aaron Donald and JJ Watt.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's actually the right call. And maybe the biggest reason.
So how many reps let's say you get 5 reps each matchup.
Well, okay, but I mean, the other thing too is like you're taking Larry Allen and Anthony Munoz in their respective primes. Let's not forget that Jim Breech was on this podcast telling us how on the 1 year, in order to get to the AFC Championship game, they had to he and a teammate had to hitch a ride from a waitress at a diner like several hours before the game. And that's sort of me saying that like you're not riding in crap. You don't have crap. Like all the technology and the medical improvements and the physical, like all the stuff that's been all the change, like Lynn Dawson was smoking cigs in the locker room at halftime of Super Bowl I, right? Like the way that athletes operate now, they're just in like vastly better shape and vastly stronger and more athletically built than anybody in the 80s or 90s or even 2000s. Athletes didn't do yoga. Like yoga was for like losers.
No, I get it. I think there's more understanding of how to maintain and get the most out of your body. But Debo just dropped this clip of Reggie White destroying anyone that stood in front of him. Like Reggie White would be just as good today as he was 30 years ago. But he was the unicorn. So yeah, no, in general, I agree with what you're saying. But I think the issue for Munoz is that he's 278, and the issue for Larry Allen is that he'd be going up against Aaron Donald.
What's up with these YouTube shorts?
That's a new thing.
I mean, Reggie White is like bodying dudes with one hand. Man, he absolutely takes Larry Allen to the cleaners in this clip. Anywho, yeah, I'm gonna take the younger, the modern guys. I will say that if you were picking like one person who might like the biggest human being I've ever been near, I think Jonathan Ogden.
Yeah, he's big.
I guess Kevin Durant's technically taller.
Yeah, but he's not thicker.
Yeah, I mean Ogden was. You were just like, oh my god, you are like how and like Ogden stands out because like you don't see football players who are 6'9".
No,
you just don't. I mean, like you don't. They just play other sports. Anyway,
I agree.
Oh my god, don't give me that sass.
Oh, I thought you were going to finish. You're just making the point that he was extremely tall.
Yeah, that's my hot take on Jonathan Ogden. Zach Mitchell 97 on Twitter asked, the past 2 seasons we've seen Stafford. And by the way, I want to point out that Ryan Wilson stealing my takes. Hopped on CBS Sports HQ and said Matthew Stafford might be even better in 2022 than he was in 2021. Yes, sir. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, you got to read the question.
We've seen Stafford traded the Rams and Russell Wilson traded the Broncos. My question is, which team would you like to see make a big QB trade, and who would be a realistic option and for what compensation?
Well, Kyler Murray just signed a deal. Maybe it's Lamar Jackson, who's now going to get more than Kyler Murray because the Ravens and Lamar have not come to terms. I won't point fingers at whose fault it is, but they have yet to sign anything. So maybe if something goes not the way they hope.
Panthers are the answer for a quarterback, right?
But who's the quarterback? Like I'm hard pressed to find someone like Lamar. I mentioned just off the cuff, but Aaron Rodgers is going to retire if he does anything. Kirk Cousins, does that inspire any sort of confidence if you move on from him? Jimmy G will end up somewhere, but
no, but Kirk Cousins is like the perfect
yeah,
quarterback for the Panthers to trade for. Like 2 first-year picks.
God, can you imagine? Tom Brady, he'll either stay or go. Drew Brees is done. Marcus Mariota, he'll be out of a job in a month or whatever when they go to Desmond Ritter. Like I got nothing. Like maybe Ryan Tannehill, but that would be a situation where it's not a Russ Wilson situation. It's a situation where it's more like a Sam Darnold situation. He's trying to go.
Lamar might really be the only answer because there's like basically everybody is either been traded for or is on a rookie deal.
The one we haven't talked about,
or is not being traded. You know,
I think this could happen, and the compensation might be a little too much. You can tell me. Justin Herbert to the Steelers for a 4th-round pick. Too much?
Conditional 4th, I think, is fine.
Can you imagine?
I'd be like the Bills, Allen Locke, Patriots, Mac Jones rookie deal. Dolphins and Jets have quarterbacks on their rookie contracts, and like maybe they don't pan out, but I mean they're still they're not trading or trading somebody or trading for somebody. Bengals rookie deal. Steelers are a candidate. Browns just traded for Watson. Ravens have Lamar. Titans, I guess, could trade for somebody or could trade Daniel.
Who is the question? I mean,
that's what I'm saying. Like I don't think there's a because we are at this point where there's a saturation of younger quarterbacks, or like a huge percentage of the league either has a quarterback on their rookie deal or has just traded for a quarterback.
And this quarterback class should on paper be better than the one we just had.
So or has a guy like a Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, where it's like there's nothing happening here.
Yeah. So I don't even know who the quarterback. Like this year was clearly crazy with Russ Wilson and who else moved? Matt Ryan moved. Carson Wentz, if you want to throw him in there.
Yeah, I mean that's what I'm saying. Like, all right, so you have one. So the Browns, the Colts.
Yeah, the Browns got Deshaun.
Broncos, the Washington team, the
the Falcons don't count. The Carolina doesn't count.
Lions, yeah.
I guess Carolina does count because they got Baker. I think Baker's an upgrade.
Like the Panthers can't trade. The Panthers don't have anything to trade. Like they're not trading. I
just meant teams that made moves just in the last few months.
I just meant like that's what I'm saying. Like teams who in the past like 6 months have traded for.
I see. Right? Yeah, the Panthers. Right? They could even if Aaron Rodgers wanted to play there.
5 of 32 teams have traded for a quarterback at some point. And then you have 49ers.
No,
I'm just saying with rookie deals.
Oh, right.
49ers, Bears, the Giants. Giants are a weird one. Eagles are a weird one too, I guess. Chargers, Texans are a weird one, but Jaguars is 5. Steelers have Kenny Pickett, and then Jets and Dolphins. So you have like 8 quarterbacks who have 8 teams. So you have 13 teams who have either just traded for a quarterback or have a quarterback on their rookie deal. And then you have, it's the Patriots, excuse me. So you have 14 teams. So like nearly half of the league is like kind of like, heavily invested in someone that they just acquired. And then that doesn't even count when I didn't do the Bengals either. I'm an idiot. So it's like 15 teams. It's a ton of teams.
Yeah. It's not going to, I don't think there will be no movement of any top 10 quarterback like there was with Russ Wilson or Matt Ryan.
Obviously clip and save that. And
right.
Yeah.
Andy Dalton doesn't count.
Oh!
All right, quickly, we do one more. Would you rather? It'll take 10 seconds. Here we go. Well, I'm sure Debo's got things to do. So this says, would you rather run across a field? I'm going to define what this field is. So let's assume the field is the length sideline to sideline, not end zone to end zone, sideline to sideline of a football field. But let's say it's 20 yards wide. Okay, so from the goal line to the 20,
sorry.
You're running from one sideline of the football field to the other. Okay, between the goal line and the 20 is how big this field is. Okay. So 20 yards wide and whatever the distance is width across. Okay. So you have to run across this field and there are 1,000 angry rattlesnakes in that area or 3 landmines.
Or you have to like pick your nose or maybe shake your hand for the rest of the
or 3 landmines. So landmines will obviously blow your body into several pieces.
Well, you can't see the landmines.
Correct.
I mean,
1,000 rattlesnakes.
That's a good one.
1,000 rattlesnakes.
1,000 rattlesnakes.
They are poisonous, and
give me I need the square footage of the field again. 20
yards wide, and you're running from one sideline out of bounds to the sideways out of bounds. I think what's that, 55 yards or something? How wide is the football?
I'm just trying to get the 160 feet by 60, so 160 by 60.
I mean, you know what it looks like. I'm trying. You can just visualize.
I know. I'm just trying to.
You want the actual square footage?
9,600 square feet, and there's 1,000 rattlesnakes.
Yeah, 1,000.
So there's a rattlesnake for every 10 square feet. Ooh, man, this is a tough one.
The square foot is 5 by 2. So
wait, what?
The 10 square feet is 5 by 2. 5 feet by 2 feet. That's one in each 5 by 2. So you'll probably have to double up because there's not enough square footage, is there? For 1,000? I think the dimensions I gave you, you're going to have more than
9,600 square feet and 1,000 rattlesnakes. So
okay, so it works out to about
one rattlesnake for every roughly 10 square feet.
Right. Yeah. Gotcha. Yep. So 4 by 2, we'll say. There's a rattlesnake in every 4 foot by 2 foot area. There's a rattlesnake. Oof. All right. So that are 3 landmines. What do you want to do?
I'm trying to. Are you sure is it?
It doesn't matter. You know what it looks like. That's why I painted the picture for you.
Man, I'm trying to do the. Man, that is. I'm trying to. There's not a lot of room between those snakes.
That's the point. If I said a football field, excuse me, I mean, that's different. That's why I had to narrow it down a little bit. Debo, while his brain or the hamster's working, what are you doing?
It's true. I'd like you guys to do better math here to help me make my decision.
All right, Debo, you probably wear like a size 6 shoe, right? So, what is it?
Coming from the 5'4" individual.
You know, I wear an 11.5 though. So.
Sure you do. Also, you moonlight as a clown too, by the way.
I will tell you, I have big feet. I will say though that I was like, anyway, you know what? I'm not derailing this from the snakes.
You're still 5'4". You can wear size 14s if you want. You're still 5'4".
I think that the snake space is so small.
3 landmines. So here's the thing:
you have to take the landmines. It's just not, but like the idea of.
But there's no coming back from the landmines. You can get bit by 3 or 4 snakes and have an hour to get the antidote.
I love that you're like, you think you like your first snake you see bite you, you're gonna make it across the field.
Well, you don't fall down and stop. It just hurts really bad. You think it might, the adrenaline might get you.
The other thing too is that, like, I mean, yes, the snakes could bite you. Snakes also don't like humans. Like, some of those snakes are gonna be getting out of the way. The snakes aren't like coming after a human. They're not
they're not going to go outside of the boundaries of the.
No, there's 1,000 snakes in the giant thing. Each snake is not required to be in a 3-foot area.
No, absolutely. But I'm saying, like, it's not literally on a football field and they can go to the 50-yard line if they want to. They have to stay. There's going to be walls where they can't go outside.
Right, of course. But the snakes could all pile up in one corner because they're, I almost said effing snakes, because they're like brain reptiles. Like, they could do something stupid and you could get a pathway. Whereas with there's the path. Like the landmine, you're going to spend. I mean, how long are you standing there? How much time do you have to think about where you're?
I think you can stay there as long as you want, because the longer you stand there, the more petrified you're going to be thinking about whatever option you chose.
No, I'm saying, like, once you're like, okay, give me the landmines. How long do you have before you have to start running?
Oh, like I said, you can stay there for 4 hours if you want, because the landmines aren't going anywhere.
I'm definitely like galaxy braining. I'm like, all right, if I were planning landmines here, I would put them here, here, and here. But I'd be like, but I would know that I would plan on thinking the landmines were there. So I would actually put the landmines here.
Yeah, you're like the guy from Princess Bride.
Correct.
And then he died. I think I'm 100% going with the rattlesnakes.
Wow. I don't know, man.
You're going to get bit 4, 5, 6 times maybe, and you'll have an hour to get the antidote.
4, 5, 6 times.
If you step on a landmine, your leg is going to...
You get bit by 6 rattlesnakes, you're not like getting to the hospital real quick. Like, you're dead.
No, you don't die immediately. That's not how it works. The issue, though, if when you do get bit by a rattlesnake or a poison snake, you shouldn't run, because then it speeds up the poison getting to your heart. So that's also a consideration. So if you get bit, you can't freak out and you can't move fast. You have to move slower. So that does cause me to reconsider.
By the way, Pete Briscoe checked in. Wow. It's no surprise. Who do you think he took in the?
He took the old timer. He took Larry Allen 100%.
Both of the old timers,
Yeah.
Allen and Munoz. Allen would kill him in the run game and have more trouble in pass protection, but he would still win.
The run game. He went straight to the run game. Okay. What do you say about Munoz and Watt?
He didn't say. He just. I guess. Oh God, we should. Man, we need to get Pete on to like say that, and then we tweet it out.
Yeah, no, I think he'd be fine with that. All right, Debo, do you want snakes or landmine, or you're just done?
I'm taking snakes.
Yeah, see, great minds. Brinson's taking the landmine, get both legs blown off.
I didn't say.
And by the way, if you step on the first landmine and it doesn't kill you, the game doesn't end. You got to continue to go across, whether it's with your arms or the one leg you have left, just to see if you hit another one.
I'm still having trouble like processing 1,000. Like I know it's going to be way more than I think in my head.
Yeah, I think it's going to be like the Temple of Doom, like the pit down there. I don't know if you ever saw Indiana Jones, but that's sort of like layout. Like there's not a lot of walking space.
Yeah, well, but like remember those snakes. But aren't there? Don't those snakes? I don't know that that's a comparable. I thought of that, but I don't think that's a comparable.
What do you mean? I think if you lay the snake out, let's say the snake is what, 4 feet long or something.
Yeah, I asked the Pete Prisco and Jamie Eisenberg the same question. The snakes landmines follow up off the Munoz. And
I can't believe
he immediately said snakes.
Pete did.
Jamie did. I don't know.
Jamie did.
Yeah, give me 15 seconds and I'm just sprinting across that field.
Yeah.
And
right. I think that's right. And you get bit.
Adam H in the comments has a good suggestion.
What does he say?
Take the landmine and just throw your shoe out there.
That's fine, but if you miss the landmine, you got to go get it. And then you've thrown your shoe like 20 feet, for example, but you don't know what's between the 20 feet between you and the shoe where you have to step. And if you just put your shoe 1 foot in front of you, it's going to blow up and still you're going to be, collateral damage, as it were.
This is a good one.
Yeah,
I think I'm taking the snakes because I feel like there's a chance that the snakes will, like rattlesnakes in particular.
You're trying to do some Caesar Milan math on these animals. Just run.
No, but I mean, like the rattlesnakes are going to. They don't want to like when you're running, they're not coming after you. If you
step on them, they've been known to strike. Based on
you get near one, they're going to bite you. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's why they're 1,000, and that's why you're in a limited small space. That's the point. It's not one rattlesnake.
I understand that, but I'm saying like there's a chance that like first of all, and sneaky factor here. Some of those snakes might kill each other. You can stand there and you can see like at least 100 snakes kill each other. Die.
Is that a thing? I don't think snakes kill each other on the reg.
You don't think a rattlesnake will bite another rattlesnake?
I've never seen it on the documentaries I watch. I love the fact that you're trying to math out the landmine. I mean, I would pay a lot of money to see you try to navigate 3 landmines. Here's the thing.
That's the thing is like
you wouldn't do it. You would take one step and you would say, "No, I will switch to the snakes."
Give me the snakes. Yeah, like at least I can see my own death coming. Like
that's right.
Yeah. I meant to ask you this earlier, and I know we've been doing this podcast for freaking ever. But have you watched For All Mankind? Oh, have you watched oh God, what's the stinging show? Not Succession. Severance on Apple TV.
I don't have Apple TV for the millionth time.
You still haven't watched Ted Lasso, have you?
Mm-mm.
Oh, grow up already.
What's the other one you mentioned? I haven't heard of that one either.
Severance is,
no, the other one.
For All Mankind is like do you remember the man?
What channel is that on?
Apple.
Oh, jeez.
You didn't get a free trial. You bang out Ted Lasso in 7 days, man.
My wife sent me the free trial. I forgot to sign up for
it. This is a great, like I've sent this to like the group thread. The immediate, I think I need more details. Landmines, snakes all day, man. Like there's not a good answer. This is a really good one.
Landmines are too, you don't know what's going to happen and you can't see it. And I think that's more troubling than, let me ask you this. Would you rather do landmines or snakes in the dark? So
landmines. Oh no. Right. Snakes in the dark?
That is where you just sprint. Not the landmines, the snakes in the dark. You just run and you hope for the best. I don't know if snakes can. They don't see so well, but I think they sense you. So maybe the dark doesn't matter to them. So they're still gonna bite you either way. But
Somebody else said, somebody was like, so the landmines are just buried there, and you hope you don't hit them. He's like, yeah, you don't get to see the landmine.
Right.
It's like,
they don't have little orange flags sticking out of the ground like when they put cables in the ground in your yard.
Just dodge these 3 orange flags.
Yeah. You would still find a way to step on one.
Probably. Man, snakes in the dark. Oh,
Yeah, you don't like snakes, is what I'm getting.
I mean, do you like snakes?
No. I was like, even when I see them, the thing, like a little bit in New York,
There's
there.
a story about killing the copperhead.
Who did?
Me,
Yeah, you did. You
Okay.
killed it with a shovel, right?
a golf club.
Oh, there are no poisonous snakes in New York because it's generally pretty cold. But every time I see a snake, I jump. Just from growing up in the South, where cottonmouths are no joke. As you.
Copperheads.
Oh, copperhead. Cottonmouths are no joke either, though. Water.
Oh yeah. Yeah, water markers. Yeah. Ooh, how big are the landmines? That's a good question.
I don't know. I think like when you see them on television, they're like this plate size or something.
I've thrown this out there. I'm like 1,000 snakes, and people are like, "What kind of snakes?" It's like, sorry, I meant rattlesnakes. My apologies. Yes, the freaking snakes are poisonous. They're
Well,
not
think
like
about
black snakes. If it was 1,000 black snakes, everybody's taking the snakes and running across the black snakes.
They're rubber snakes.
They're like grabbing a couple on the way out. Like, yeah.
Think about it this way: just 3 dinner plates. Take 3 dinner plates and throw them out into that area. There's no way you step. What are the chances you step on those? Like almost like it has to be less than 1%.
It's kind of a Rorschach test for like your personality, I think, too.
Well, you generally feel like you're risk seeking, but this you're going with the risk averse behavior.
This is a ridiculous question. Somebody's like, if I go slow and step on one and hear the click, and I'm MacGyver my way into keeping the button pressed down with gum just long enough to throw it? No.
First of all, that's not how landmines work. I think they're dropped into the ground a good distance. Says the person who has no idea.
Jamie Eisenberg points out, like, if you hit the landmine, you're dead.
Yes. Maybe
you can, as you point out, get bitten by 8, 10, 12 snakes. And
I don't know if that
survive.
a handful. I don't know if I would go that high. Double digits might be.
I think we are underestimating too. Like, it depends on how quickly you get bit by the snake.
What do you mean? You're gonna get bit when you step on it or whatever? What do you mean? How quickly?
Well, like if you get bit by the snake in your first step.
Oh, I see. How early on in your journey?
You're not going to be moving very quickly. Like there's a chance you end up laying on the ground, writhing in pain, unable to run, being eaten by snakes.
I don't think you heard this earlier because you were doing something else. But I've been watching all these documentaries about snake bites. When you get bit by a poisonous snake, you can't elevate your heart rate, like run, because it'll get the poison will get quicker to your heart.
Yeah.
So then you get bit. Instinctively, you want to run, but you have to like take deep breaths and walk as you continue to get bitten on your way to the quote unquote finish line. Might be the ultimate finish line. So that's the other math you have to do. But I'm just, for my purposes, when you get to the finish line, there will be an ambulance waiting for you. Although I've seen that the recovery, even when caught in time, can be extremely painful and laborious and take a long time to get back to full, wherever you got bit, full health.
I mean, landmine, you're just, yeah.
But again, throw 3 dinner plates out in your yard. What are the chances you walk on one if you just blindfold yourself and go for a walk? Pretty small. Just take the landmine.
This is like full blown argument in my like Raleigh friends text thread right now. So I said 1,000. You're gonna get way more than a couple bites. He said doubtful. They're more scared of me, and I'm flying.
Right. You're flying until you get like, the old Mike Tyson, everyone has a plan until they get punched in the face. Then you're not flying so much.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
over under 33 seconds for Pete to run 100 yards.
I don't know.
Penguin waddle across the field.
Oh!
The snakes actually might be more afraid of Pete than they are of other humans.
Right. Pete is like the problem for Pete's getting like, man, the snakes are getting Pete quick. No, this is meta as hell. Like my buddy Bronze is like, who's on the text thread, is watching us on YouTube, and anyway.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, hey ATW. I think I'm ultimately. God, this is a good one. You're going snakes, right?
Yeah. So workers are for those bitten by rattlesnakes, 10 to 44% of those people will have lasting injuries. Something else to keep in mind. This is from the CDC.
But you can have permanent damage with
10 to 44% will have lasting injuries. Yep.
That's not great.
I'm trying to see how many bites can you take at once before.
Oh, this is a good question from Ian Marquez in the chat. Can we do it simultaneously?
Yeah, yeah.
One person's running versus the month. That would be, I mean, like, obviously, it would not be fun to watch it.
Oh, I would enjoy.
Okay, you know what? It would be fun. It would be like it is a Mr. Beast special. Maybe Mr. Beast can do it.
Like I'm trying to run through the rattlesnake pit and I get hit in the head by your foot as it flies across the field because you just got blown to smithereens.
You're like about to make it through. You're like, I've made, and my torso comes ripping across.
Yeah, that would be the most Brinson ending ever.
But like Mr. Beast, Robbie and I watched one where it was like he puts $20,000 in $20,000 in cash in a briefcase, but you have to walk across this pond. It features like little, like it's a little swampy area, and there's like 15 or 20 enormous alligators. And like the first two dudes who are like his friends are like, I'm not doing that. Like, hell no. And then this like professional, like alligator wrestler, snake tamer comes up. He's like, all right, I'll do it. And he gets like 3 steps in. And he's like, I've made a big mistake. And he eventually gets across, but like it looks so dicey.
Yeah. Well, there you go. That could be you without the $20,000 prize at the end, just doing it for fun.
So I guess I'm taking snakes, but man, that would suck. I feel like snakes in the dark is basically landmines, and snakes in the dark is way worse than snakes in the light.
Well, snakes in the dark is actually way worse than landmines because you can see neither, and one of those things is absolutely going to bite you.
Like if you were like, hey, you have to. Snakes in the dark. 1,000 snakes in like 10,000 square feet in the dark.
What about
they're all rattling? Oh my God.
What about 20 snakes in the dark versus 3 landmines? You can't see them, but there are 20 of them.
Ugh. How many snakes?
20.
20 snakes in the dark?
Yeah. Same distance.
Come on, snakes.
All right. There you go.
20 snakes versus 3 landmines. 1,000 snakes is a butt ton of snakes.
But 20, and you can still hear the rattles, will be quite disconcerting and pitch black, can't see your hands in front of your face type situation.
1,000 snakes, 20 snakes, whatever. You can at least 20 snakes, you can maybe discern like where the rattles are.
You're not hanging around with your ear to the ground. I think the strategy is to do a bunch of long jumps, like just.
Oh, God, snakes in the dark is so terrifying. Think about, you're like, okay, just got to do a couple. You're like 2 more leaps, and all of a sudden, like you take that first leap, and it's just, psh. Oh man, snakes in the dark. F a snake in the dark.
All right.
Okay.
Well, there you go. We'll have to bring that one back for Breech when he gets back from his 2-month-long vacation.
Somebody Adam H in the comments like, please message Breech to see what he says. Breech is definitely taking.
He's taking the snakes. He typically does the not crazy thing.
Yeah, I think he's taking that. Well, but I also see him being like, I'm actually good with snakes.
Although he did say he'd rather sleep in jeans than wear a helmet for the rest of his life. So
he may have like chosen to like one of his like one of his choices in one of these may have been like drink urine.
Could have been.
Point,
I think he just said that out of the blue.
He volunteered to drink urine for the rest of his life.
Yes, that sounds. It
was like, would you rather
drink beer or wine? I will drink urine. Okay, didn't ask, but sure. You do. You.
That's very on brand for Breech. All right, this so much for not having a podcast today, Debo.
Yeah, Debo blew up in Debo's face.
He's 90 minutes out of this, but yeah, this is what happens, Debo, when you make us podcast. We're gonna sit here for a while. Bring out the book, Wilson.
Oh gosh.
I'm just kidding. Thanks as always for listening, for hanging out with us. If it's Monday and you're listening, I hope you had a great weekend. If it's Friday and you're watching on YouTube, enjoy your weekend. For Wilson, I'm Brinson. See you guys later.